This is the Parks and Rec Committee meeting. I'm Chairman Mrs. Westfall. To my left is Mrs. Marshall, and to my right is Mr. Wooden. And we are here to provide a recommendation to Council regarding authorizing the Director of Public Service and Safety of the City of Troy, Ohio, to purchase the 0.675 acre parcel. Parcel lot 19.0, acres, an abandoned railroad property from the Pensco Trust Company for the amount of $205,000 and to execute any related documents so that the purchase can be completed without delay. Consideration of emergency legislation is requested.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So as we, last year, you might recall, as we were looking over Hurlinger and some of the priorities and projects that we wanted to look at, that Hurlinger came up related to the Crawford Street, the East End redevelopment prospects and some grant application, and a lot of interest by council to make some improvements to Hurlinger Park. In last year's budget, we included some ARPA funds to replace playground equipment. We are also resurfacing the basketball court, replacing the equipment out there. There are other miscellaneous items that we're doing, including parking lot, as well as a fence around the shelter and new playground equipment. And then in the 2025 budget, Council also allocated funds for additional parking, other amenities out at Hurlinger Park, as well as curbing, sidewalks, accessibility, possibility of a permanent restroom out there, those kind of amenities. So as staff got together and started to talk about soliciting for some design, some engineering services, and looking at the map, we wondered if the property, I guess to the north or west of Hurlinger Park, might be available to expand the footprint. There's a piece of South Crawford that splits that property in Hurlinger Park. It's a piece of Crawford that kind of meanders, I guess, southeast, then down, then over, or across the railroad and back. So we saw some potential as possibly, if we could acquire the property, then combine it with Hurlinger Park and do a bigger redevelopment. We reached out to the property owner, did an appraisal of the property. The property did appraise at $205,000. We did get an official appraisal and made that offer to the property owner contingent upon council approval. He has verbally accepted that offer, and so we bring that to you. Consistent with property acquisition, time can be of the essence so that we can close on the property, record on the property, and then design with that property in mind. We are asking for emergency legislation.
Are there any buildings on that property?
There is a building on that property. We would take that down. It's the property would become available, I believe, in the middle of the year. The lease is up. The tenant is aware that this is a possibility, and so there are no issues there with timing.
Okay. Any questions?
So we're not sure yet what amenities we want to put that we'd put out there, but we have a list that, with that additional space, would be opened up because now we have the additional space, which is why we're looking at this.
We have a list of amenities. One of them that we had thought about, but whether it'll work on that particular parcel or not, or piece of that parcel, would be some kind of a small practice baseball or softball field. That would be something that we would ask the engineering firm to look at to see if that could be incorporated into the larger plan. Not sure about that as of yet. It may, we may want to use that to expand some parking opportunity out there as well.
Because of the proximity to the railroad tracks, will we have to put up fencing along the perimeter of the property?
No, we have a similar situation out at Archer Park. The engineering, design would take the railroad property into account. I'm rereading this memo, and I know they looked at the abandoned railroad property. Whether or not we could get that from the railroad remains to be seen. There is a piece, however, north of that property that is abandoned canal land. It's owned by the state, and we feel confident that could be transferred to us. So at least that part of it. And if you look at a map, Hurlinger Park is actually at least two parcels. One is the main park, and then there is the rectangle northeast of it that is former canal land that we do now own.
Okay. When we talk about vacating Crawford Street, do we have an estimate on what that would, I don't know what a street demolition tear out cost might be.
We don't know that would be torn out or if it would be additional parking. That would be another thing that the engineer would look at.
Okay.
Hurlinger Way we would look at possibly widening it as a way to go around Hurlinger Park, since the cut through would be eliminated. But again, that's all part of the master design that we would bring back to you.
Okay. And then lastly, this kind of came a little bit roundabout to us. This hadn't gone through the park board yet. Will this go back to the park board at some point?
We will discuss it with them tomorrow. We did not get a formal recommendation from them. This is just the acquisition of the property. They have been involved, however, in a lot of discussions about Hurlinger Park and would continue to be involved in the design. Very confident that they would be in support of any time that we can expand the footprint of Hurlinger, and they have had input to this point as to the types of amenities that we're looking at Hurlinger, but that would be a next step.
Okay, thank you.
Do you have any questions?
Did you say that building is empty now?
No, I did not. It still has a tenant in it. The tenant will be vacating mid-year.
Any other city council members?
If I may.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, ma'am. Mr. Titterington, I don't know if you or Mrs. Rhodes would be the best person to answer this, but the yellow triangle area that is the proposed purchase, there's a lot just to the north of that looks, I'm guesstimating 75, less than 100 feet to a driveway. Is that inclusive in the property here, or is that another right-of-way of some sort?
So you're looking at this?
Yes, sir.
And which one are you
It's
looking
just,
at?
it would be north of the building.
North of the building is off the page.
Okay.
I think you mean to the right
So
of the
west.
white.
Is that part of the canal land? That's what I was thinking, but
Well, it's just outside of the building. When I'm kind of going north and east, I guess it would be.
mm-hmm.
Is that inclusive in the piece that we're looking at?
The way this is drawn, yes, it would be. Well, not of the purchase, but we would petition the state.
That's the canal
That's the
property.
part of the canal.
Okay.
Gotcha. Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
So the state owns that.
This.
Yeah. Any other council members? No? Do you have a recommendation? Oh, the public, sorry, forgot about the public. Public have any comments? No? Seeing none, do we have a recommendation?
Move forward with emergency.
Move forward.
I agree, to move forward.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
And we're adjourned.